Application deployment via SCCM is a process where we can deploy the application or software to hundreds or thousands of devices in your organization at one time. So this video is specifically focused upon the beginners level to intermediate level. I can say the level 2 skills, where if you are going to start creating the application in SCCM, so this is going to be very helpful because I'm going to cover the basics. So it's a two-part series. In this first part, it's all going to be the basics, and in the next part, it's going to be level 3 skills, where I'm going to cover everything in too much detail. So it's a beginner thing, then watch this thing, or if you're looking for the advanced one, you can jump to the other video. First thing first, that we will be discussing about the benefits of application model. We will be comparing it with the packaging model. Then I'm going to give you a demo that with the step-by-step creation and deployment of application. I'm going to give you a demo for the MSI file and the exe file. So there are two kind of files which we can deploy. Not only two, actually the list is pretty much very big, but MSI and exe is one of the most common applications which we can deploy via SCCM. Then I'm going to show you that in the demo process that what exactly will be required for the application. For example, for any recipe you need ingredients. So we are going to cover that what exactly you need before creating an application, and we'll be going through together that how that application can be created. And finally, we'll be deploying it on a device where I can show you via log files that how the application got installed. So first thing is that why exactly we are focusing upon the benefits. What exactly are the benefits of the application model? Let's discuss about the application model versus package model. If you have to deploy a software via SCCM, you can deploy it via package model, which was the classic way, the old way of deploying the package. But the application model is much more reliable and convenient to deploy. So let's think about what exactly is there in the package model. So in package model also, you are just you are simply creating the package and in the SCCM, and it can be deployed to the devices. But package will be deployed only once. For example, if I'm pushing an application, it is going to deploy the application whether it's success or failure. It is not going to re-evaluate. This is where the application model comes into picture. If you deploy an application via application, and if application deployment evaluation is set for 7 days, so it's a client setting I will be showing you. So that application will be re-evaluated every 7 days. For example, if someone is deleting that application, someone has the admin rights and they deleted that app, so it will reinstall it after 7 days. If any application is corrupted or some other issue, that is the benefit of using the application model. Application model also comes with so many different features like supersedence, requirement, detection method. Lots of things are there which are not present in the packaging model. So application model is going forward if you wanted to deploy any software, anything via SCCM. I have logged on to my SCCM server. To create an application, you have to go to the software, application management, and applications. Before creating an application, we need a source. So in this demo, the very first demo, I'm going to create the MSI file. For the demonstration purpose, I'm going to give you a demo on 7-zip. 7-zip can be downloaded simply on the Google. If you search for download 7-zip, the very first link will take you to the 7-zip page, and you can see that you have MSI and exe. So in the first one, I'm going to give you a demo with the MSI file and then later exe file. I will be preferring the MSI file for any deployment. Why? You will be coming to know very soon when I'm going to create it. For example, it creates the command line, uninstall and install command line automatically, and the detection method. While exe, everything you have to do manually. You have to specify the command lines. So I think it will be better clear when we are going to create the application. So I have downloaded the 7-zip application in MSI format. So this is the fourth one. You have to click. So 24.09 is the version which I downloaded. I have downloaded the MSI and copied it under the 7-zip 24.09 MSI. So my source directory, the MSI file, is ready. So I'm ready to create the application. In SCCM console, under application management application, right click the application and click on create application. So the very first thing is I have to specify the MSI file. So it is giving me the option automatically detect information about this application from installation files. If I click on the type, there are a lot of files which are supported. As I told you, there are heaps of the extensions which can be deployed by SCCM, but MSI is the one of the most common thing. I have to specify the MSI file location. Let me click on browse. My MSI file is selected. Click on next. Don't worry about this message. The publisher 7-zip file could not be verified. Are you sure that you want to import this file? Because this vendor was, the publisher was not verified, but still okay, because we know that 7-zip is a reliable source. Click on yes. The information has already been imported. Once I click on next, it's giving me the name 7-zip 24.09x64. So other information you can specify whatever you want, and you can see the installation program. So MSI exec /i, the MSI file name /q, it got created automatically. So this is something, if you are creating any package or application model via exe, this command line will not be created. So that's the beauty of the MSI, because MSI is a native application. MSI exec is a native application within which is inbuilt into the Windows. It understands that how MSI can be installed. So /i is an indication of installation, and /x is for uninstallation. So /q is the quiet installation, and it is showing as the install behavior. Installation behavior, you can use one of the three settings: install for user, install for system. A third one is install for system if the resource is device, otherwise install for user. So I'm going with the third option, the default one. Summary, progress, and application has been created. So you can see that the information, that content location, where exactly the location, the command line for the installation is this one. And it also created a detection method, the product code starting with 23170. So everything was created automatically. If I go to the console, yes, I can see the application. This is a summary. So if I go to the deployment type, so it created a deployment type automatically, because based upon the MSI, everything was being done automatically. So let me show you that what exactly this application contains. If I right click the application, go to the properties. This was the very first page where we saw when we were creating the application. If I go to the software center, localize application name, that what exactly the localized application name means in software center, what application name you wanted to show, what name you wanted to show, you can go with that. And you can specify the categories, the documentation. One good thing is you can see the icons. So icon, it's a default icon, very generic icon. I can change that icon for 7-zip. Let me click on browse. I have already downloaded the 7-zip icon. So you can easily find the application icons. There are a lot of repositories on GitHub also. There are, for every application, the icons will be there. So a lot of people are providing the icons for all the applications. So it's very easy process, and I think it creates a very good experience for the user. It looks very professional if user is given an icon, so that they can recognize not only with the name but with the icon also. So if I go to references, it shows about the relationship with any other application. So right now there is no references. Distribution settings is related to the DP, that what exactly how the distribution priority will be there. Maybe I can go with the high. Automatically download content and packages are assigned to a distribution point. Click on the deployment types. So as part of creation of application, deployment type got created automatically. So let me select this deployment type and see what exactly it was there. I have edited the deployment type. So it's a general page where it is showing that it's an MSI file. If I go to the content, it is showing that where exactly the content was there, and the uninstallation content settings exactly like the same as content. So if I go to the programs, you can see the installation command MSI exec /i MSI file name /q. This is what I previously showed you. Similarly, the uninstallation command line also got created automatically. MSI exec /x, the product code of the application /q. /q is the silent installation. /x is meant for the uninstallation switch. MSI is such a smart way of deploying the application that it gets those information auto-populated, and those informations are automatically saved. So that's the reason we prefer the MSI file. If I go to the content, uninstall content settings, same as install content. So it is showing that if you are going to deploy an application for the installation and uninstallation, it is same. But I think for the uninstallation, why we need to select the same as install content? Let me select the no uninstall content. Why? Let's have a look. In programs, it is only calling MSI exec /x product o /q. This itself is sufficient. If you run this command, it is going to uninstall it. It does not require the real MSI file to trigger it. So that's the benefit. So the another benefit is that when you are trying to push any uninstallation, it is not going to download any application to CCM cache, and it's good. The process will be pretty much very quick. See, if it is if any application is of 1 or 2 MB, it still not make too much sense. But if application is pretty much very big, I think it makes sense to select this option. Programs are done. Program option is done. Let's click on detection method. Detection method is one of the way to verify whether that application is present on that device or not. For example, you push an application, it will get installed. After the installation, it is going to verify whether that application is present or not. So this detection method got created automatically. If I click on edit clause, you can see the product code. Once again, it is coming because of we selected MSI. If it was exe or any other format, you have to specify the detection method manually. There are options to specify the add clause. You can use the script also, but I just wanted to make this video, this L2 level skill, simple. In the L3, the next level, I'm going to provide you much more detail. User experience. Okay, so let's see what is the user experience for this application. The installation behavior. Install for system if so resources device, otherwise install for user. This was the default option which we selected. Logon requirement. This is one of the most important requirement. You have to be very careful whether or not a user is logged on. So it means if your application is targeted to a device or user, irrespective of that, if user is not logged in, then also the application is going to be installed. So be careful if you select only when a user is logged on. With this option, user has to log on, then only the application is going to be pushed. So the better option is go with whether or not user is logged on. Install program visibility, normal, maximize, minimize. As we have already used the /q for hiding this the silent installation, so it will not make too much difference. So let's go with the normal. Now this is the maximum allowed runtime. If any application is trying to install, it has to be completed within this time frame. For example, 120 minutes. So it's sufficient because 7-zip requires just 10 seconds, 15 seconds. So we are specifying 120 minutes. This is also one of the important setting. For example, if you are trying to install Office 365 and someone has changed his runtime to 5 minutes. We know that Office 365 can take up to 10 to 15 minutes of time. So if that runtime has been passed and that application is not installed at that moment, it will be declared as failed. So be careful. Maximum runtime. So Microsoft has provided a default value of 120 minutes. I think that is sufficient for any other application as well. If I go to the requirement, this is where I can make the things more complex, that I want this application to be installed only for Windows 11 or Windows 10 or a specific version of something, or some other application, detect some application first, then only install it. For example, I'm trying to push an application to Office, to a plug. I'm trying to push a plugin, and that plugin requires Office 365 to be present. So I need the requirement. Means if Office 365 is present, then only install. So I'm just making this video simple. So I'm not going to cover in detail. But if you wanted to make it for a specific workstation, you can click on Add. Here there are a lot of options that you can specify the physical memory. I can specify it at 8 GB. That if RAM is 8 GB, then only it is going to install, or maybe other settings, the Active Directory, the ownership, the organization. So there are a lot of settings. If I go to custom, these are the custom rules which I have created. I will be covering it later in other video. So these are the things where I can go and make the selection. One other option is, the interesting option is operating system. If I click on operating system, I can see the list of operating systems are displayed. If I just wanted to deploy on Windows 11, just click on Windows 11. If I click over here, there are other options also for 64-bit, for ARM64 and enterprise multi session. So I can simply go and select the granular level thing. But if this is also not sufficient for you for this kind of information, then you can simply go for creation of the custom script. Let's not specify any requirement. I'm just make it simple. Click on the return codes. Return code is an indication that how that application what is the meaning of application installation. For example, usually any application when it gets installed, it returns exit code 0. So yes, exit code 0, it is already there. It is mentioned as success. 3010 is another one which requires a reboot, soft reboot. So if any application is giving an output of 3010, so it is also written. Similarly, there are other exit codes also written. You don't have to focus too much upon this thing. These are easy to manage. But think about a scenario wherein any application gets installed and it gives an exit code of some random number, for example 1234. I'm just giving you any generic thing, means explaining you. 1234, you know that the application installation was successful, everything is working fine, but it is giving a return code of something different, and just because of that reason application is marked as failed. So this is where we can add that exit code. Usually it is not going to happen, but just keep in mind it's a very important setting in for few cases only. This is a dependency. Once again, it's one of the important thing which I would say. For example, for 7-zip to install, if .NET framework is the base application which should be there, so I can use that application. I can click on add and define one of the application. For example, Dell Optimizer, whatever is that, right? If I click that application, what will happen? That it will be created as a dependency. So dependency means that application is dependent upon this application, and that application is going to be installed. Whatever the dependency applications I'm going to specify here, that will be installed first before 7-zip application. You might be thinking that I told you a similar thing over here also for the requirement, where I can create a requirement based upon an application. Requirement is a bit different from the dependency. While dependency pushes the application, whatever you specify, you can see the automatically install. It will install. But requirement is something, whether that 7-zip application is going to be offered to the device or not. For example, if I specify Office 365, so what will happen? If Office 365 is not there, 7-zip will not be offered to the device. But if I specify Office 365 under the dependency, first Office 365 is going to be installed, then 7-zip. I think it makes clear. Yeah. So let's click on OK. So we came out of the deployment types, and now we are on the main application page. So next is the content location. Right now it's not distributed to any distribution point, which we are going to do right now. Another setting is supersedence. This is a version 2.24.09. This is also a very rich feature where I can create a supersedence with the older application. For example, if someone is having 21.09, 21.10, the old version of 7-zip is here. So I can supersede that application. If that application is assigned, then what will happen? That 24.09 will supersede the old application. It is going to uninstall. I will not say supersedence is a very good feature. You know why? Because usually the application itself is capable enough to uninstall the old application and install the new one. But in rare scenarios where the application itself is not capable enough to install the old version, in the scenario where both the versions of applications will be there, so this is the best place. We are good with creation of the application. Click on OK. Application is ready, but I need to distribute it to the distribution point. Right click and click on distribute content. See, the application is already there on the source, but the clients are not going to get the package directly. They are not going to get the application directly from the source. They need a distribution point. So SCCM server has a distribution point role installed where it is going to keep the copy of that content. So application is selected over here, and I have two distribution points. I am going to select only one, SCCM01, which is my working distribution point for the workstation. Next, done. So content is distributed. Now what? I have to deploy this application. Right click, deploy. Let me select the collection. I'm just going to select all users. I have option for devices and users, so I'm going with the users. Maybe you can also go with the devices and you can select specific collection, but for simplicity, I'm selecting the all users. Click next. Next. Action. What what exactly I'm looking for this? Install or uninstall? I wanted to get the install. So I have an option, the action for the install or uninstall. The purpose, available or required. Available means I'm making this application as optional. So it will be displayed in Software Center. If user wants to install, they can install it. If I make it required, I have to specify a time. At that specific time, the application will be installed automatically to all users. So for demonstration purpose, I'm just going to show you for available, or else it's going to be pushed to all my devices. This is not what I want. So, but you have options, available versus required. So available option is sufficient. Click next and specify at what time the application will be available. Let me make some adjustment over here. I have made the appropriate changes now, that at what time I wanted to make it available. Click on next. User notification, display in Software Center and show all notifications. So this is the default option, looks good. Click next. This is the alert page, click next. Summary and done. So my 7-zip 24.09 has been targeted on the client, on all users. So let me see. I have logged on to Windows 11 device. Let me go to the control panel and let me launch the configuration manager properties. In properties, what I want to do is let me initiate the machine policy. Usually it takes 1 hour to get the policy. It can take up to 1 hour. So let me initiate the policy right now. I'm just clicking on 2-3 times so that it contacts the management point SCCM and will fetch the policy for me to expedite the process. Let me launch Software Center. And here I can see that 7-zip 24.09 is available. If I click on this application, I can go and install it. Let me see. The application got installed successfully. Let me verify by going to the start menu. Yes, I can see 7-zip is already there. Maybe I can show you a few log files which can be useful for you to verify that how the installation was looking like. The location is C Windows CCM logs. There are 3 important log files for the application installation: app discovery, app enforce, and app intent eval. So the master log file I would say is app enforce. And if we are really interested about troubleshooting the application deployment via the log files, you can watch the video, troubleshooting video. I created that video, I think a couple of years ago. It's a really very awesome video. This is going to create your all doubts if you wanted to troubleshoot and wanted to understand what happens in the background. So if I open the app enforce, I'm just going to show you some basic things where you will be able to understand easily. This is here, you can see starting install enforcement for this application. The content was downloaded in C Windows CCM cache 4, the folder 4, and the installation executed and exit code 0. So installation was done, and after installation, the discovered application. So the application was discovered, app enforcement completed. So this is a master log file for the application deployment. But where exactly the discovery was happening? So if you open the app discovery, this app discovery component is responsible for discovering the application, whether that application was there or not. For example, when this application first time was targeted on this device, discovery ran whether that application is required or not. So it showed that no, application is not there. Then app enforce installed the application, and then app discovery ran it again. Yes, now the application is here. So one application discovery will be running before application installation and after application installation. So I can show you over here. Application not discovered, did not detect app deployment type. So nothing was here. Application not detected, did not detect, right? So after that, when the application was installation was done, the application was done, that information was passed to app enforce and it showed about the application was installed. So if you wanted to get more detail about the app discovery, then another log file is here, app intent eval. That thing, this log file is literally a very great log file. For example, when the execution started, let's have a look. Yeah, this is the application 24.09. You can see the current state is showing as not installed. Applicability, applicable, yes, that application is this application is applicable for the device. It is made as available. So you can see not installed, applicable, and it is made available. So once a lot of things happened, installation happened, downloading, discovery happened, this is the final state. Current state is compliant, means now device is compliant. It is installed. Applicability, yes, applicable. Result state, compliant. So everything is being captured over here, right? Isn't it so nice? So let's now move to the exe deployment. So let's deploy the exe file. So in exe file, we have to be careful that it is not going to create the install command automatically. No install command will be there, no uninstall command will be there, no detection method. So we have to do everything manually. So for demonstration purpose, rather than using 7-zip, see, I can use 7-zip as the exe, but let's do something different. Let me show you, give you a demo for the Notepad++. Notepad++, if I go for the downloading, I can't see any MSI file. So Notepad++ has not provided any MSI, so it's exe only. So 7-zip exe MSI is there. If MSI is there, then why I will prefer the exe? Yes, but for Notepad++, either there should be the application packager in your team which knows about how to convert from exe to emsi. If it is not there, no problem. We will be able to create we are still going to create the package because most of the time every vendor provides the silent install and uninstall command line. So for this also, silent install and uninstall command line, if you search on the Google, you will be able to find it. I have that information available with me. Let me show you. This is my source. I have already downloaded the Notepad++ 8.8.1. This is the exe file, and this is a readme file which I have created manually. This file shows the command line which I'm going to use for the install, and the second one is for the uninstall. I'm creating the application again, but this time for exe. I'm not going to select the option automatically detect information about this application. I have to select the manually specify the application information. Click next, specify the application name. Click next. Icon is selected, click on next. So it was not able to create the deployment type on its own, unlike MSI. Here I have to create the deployment type manually. No worries, let's click on add. And I'm not going to select the automatic. Let me select the manually specify the deployment type information. Specify the name. Click next. Content location. This is my content location. The folder, I have to specify the folder. Now it is asking for the install program and uninstall program. As I told you, it is not going to create those files, these command lines automatically. So let me copy it from the readme file. Done. Click on next. Okay, so now we are sitting here to define the detection method. What exactly the detection method I'm going to use for this application? I can use a script also over here where we can use to detect the Notepad++ and specific version. But for simplicity, let me go with the easy option. Add clause. It is looking for a file. This file system, registry, and Windows installer. So I have three options. So let me go with the file system. I have already installed the Notepad++ on this device. So I can simply go and browse it. If you know the location, you can simply do the copy paste, but as I have already installed, let me select it. Done. So you can see that percentage program files percentage Notepad++. Or I can simply make more easy, right? So I know that it is going to be installed in C program files notepad++. So let me use this path and the file name notepad++.exe. This folder or file or folder is associated with 32-bit application on 64-bit. No, I know that it's a 64-bit version. So let me just simply click on uncheck it. So am I happy with this option? Yes. If I'm happy, I can click on OK. But what will happen over here is that if I go with creation of this redirection method, it is going to detect the application based upon the notepad++.exe file existence. Means if file exists, then it will be treated as application installed. But what if device is having an old version? So maybe I can go with another option, this one. Rather than using a date modified, let me use the version equals to 8.8.1. So now I'm using two options, verify the notepad++.exe and also look for the version 8.8.1. Click on OK. Done. I can use these things via script also at a more advanced level, but I think this is okay. Installation behavior. Let me use install for system, because if I go with install for user, what is going to happen is if user does not have the permission to install the application, it is going to fail. So this is a good option, install for system. Or you saw that with MSI, we use the third option. Third option is also good, install for system. If resources device, otherwise install for user. I actually usually prefer the install for system. That is much more appropriate because it will always be going to be installed with the device context. Logon requirement, let me select whether or not user is logged on. As I told you that it gives more better option. Without logging on also, application is going to be installed if it is targeted to the device. Let me click on next. Requirement, I told you about the requirement and dependencies. I'm not going to define anything over here. Let's make the thing simple. Next, next, close. So my deployment type is created. Click on next, summary. So you saw that I was creating a deployment and under that there was a deployment type, and now I have to deploy it. Yes, notepad++ is created. So I can see one deployment type. Let me deploy it. Before deploy, I have to distribute the content. Let me tell you, even if I have forgot to distribute the content, if I deploy, if it is not distributed to any DP, it will ask me to distribute the content. So I have selected one DP. Next, next, close. And now it's time to deploy. I'm selecting all users. Next, next. I'm making it available only, not required. I have to install it. I am not uninstalling it. Next, just making some minor changes over here and done. Let me quickly log on to the other device. Once again, I'm initiating the machine policy to expedite the process. I can see Notepad++ 8.8.1 demo is there. Let me try to install it. And yes, the application installation is done. Once again, let me verify the log files. Performing detection of app deployment, application not discovered, then the command line executed from the CCM cache, folder number 5, npp 8.8.1.exe/s. It was showing as timeout as 120 minutes, application installation done with exit code 0, and exit code 0 is a success. Performing detection of application, discover application, and app enforcement completed. Similarly, if I look into the app discovery, install will use content ID. If I scroll down over here, application was not discovered, did not detect the application. Because application was not discovered, it initiated the downloading and application installation, and that's why app enforce showed as success. and more information we can see here in app intent evil. The final statement was something current state compliant, applicable, compliant, and previously the status was not installed, applicable, available. It was made available, but it was not compliant. I think it makes sense. Now I would like to also show you about the client settings. If I go to the administration client settings, let me show you the default client settings properties. If I go to the software deployment, you can see the schedule reevaluation for deployments. So it occurs every 7 days. So any application evaluation is going to happen every 7 days. So if I have targeted 10 applications to a device or user, it is going to re-evaluate on every 7 days to see whether those applications are present or not, whether those applications are discovered or not. If it is already discovered, it is going to do nothing, no installation will be triggered. But if any of the application is missing, it is going to reinitiate it again. So you can simply change that value also if you wanted to have more aggressive value of maybe 3 days, 4 days. But I think 7 days is a pretty much a very standard thing which people are using. But in case for any specific application, if you wanted to deploy, if you wanted to make sure it does the evaluation on much more higher frequency, you can change it to 1 day also, hours also, whatever you want. But be careful, it will create a lot of load on the devices in the SCCM to process those requests. I think this video was informative. Thank you so much.